Welcome to Minecraft in Hardcore Bedrock. It's my first attempt at beating Bedrock. I never have. I've actually never tried before, but this is my first go at it. But you gotta start somewhere. Your typical, collect wood, collect stone, and then I just move quickly. For my first thing that I typically always do in hardcore challenges, it's not necessarily a speed run, but it is one way to quickly get to where you want to get to, is finding a village. And usually desert or savannah are my best bets when it comes to like complete villages as a whole, from my experience. And the desert is one benefit. You can actually find temples, which actually have decent loot. Big thing for me was typically bones and string. And of course, golden apples are always a plus too, but bones and string. I wanted some dogs. I think I eventually get some, but I don't remember. I think I did. Anyway, and even the gunpowder, which I don't typically collect. I was trying to shift click like it would on Java and it didn't work. But nighttime came quick. This is the first day. I'm not doing by days, but basically first day. This is the first day. Next day, do my thing. Because hay bales are great for trading and also for food. Maybe not for this villager that I tried to help out and it backfired on me. Good thing the iron golem was there. There's a lot of things that are different within Bedrock that I've noticed from Java, but we're not going to talk about that now. There is a stark difference. Just put that out there. But I'm going to be on my game, trying to just kind of get through there, even if there are differences. Found another temple though, which was great. These are really good for stuff because I'm lazy when it comes to hardcore at the beginning. I don't want to sit there and mine, but even the iron's amazing. Iron, gold, golden apples are a big thing for me when I'm fighting the dragon in hardcore. Good thing. And I also found my first diamond as well. So all in all, it's not a bad start.
Man,
but
I just jumped the car.
to the one thing I really needed to do is start to trade. One thing I'm going to say here is actually, I like that the animation here, you see how he was tracking there? Java doesn't do this. You see that right there? That's not an animation in Java to where it says they've connected to this. You have to just kind of run around like crazy. So, doing the thing I do and start collecting emeralds. Hay bales are easy. So is, of course, potatoes and carrots, but the hay bales tend to be more plentiful and quicker. Thing was the pumpkins and just trading for emeralds because I will want some books to enchant. That's why I would need to get the iron as well, because I need a anvil to actually add those to my tools and my weapons. This is one thing I don't remember seeing that they added because I played so much modded. There's zombie horses now. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. But it's cool. That's actually a cool thing to see within this game. But I'm doing my thing still, and I cut most of it out. Of running back and forth, trading, back and forth. Yeah, remember this creeper. Just remember this creeper. I noticed very quickly that some mobs will track you even longer than you think they are tracking you. We'll put it to you that way. But I'm on my grind. Collecting just to trade, not to eat, not to make base, but to trade, and then he shows back up again. It was a legit jump scare. So I'll do something less scary, and I'm just going to run off. Looking for more villages, and also these ruined portals, because I need two things, typically like gold stuff and obsidian. Obsidian is one thing I really would need, because I need to get to the nether. And I fortunately found, I didn't mine. Typically, I don't mine it at first. When it comes to hardcore challenges, I just use whatever I can find. No strip mining, nothing like that. But I happened to find 3 diamonds, thankfully. And I'm going to spare you me collecting every bit of this, because I still need more than what I'm actually cutting here. And I'm off to another village. And this is kind of how it goes for me. You find villages, you collect whatever loot you can find, and then you trade. You trade. Finally, I found some more books, which are great, so I don't have to kill any sheep, cows or collect any sugar cane. I don't have to do any of that. I just gotta go there. And of course, more iron's always a good thing. I don't really like using the bundles. I had issues with the bundles where it would actually not open and spit out anything. So eventually I stopped using them as a whole. They just, for some reason on this Bedrock, it didn't want to work at all. And this is the part that kind of gets to me, is rolling these. I know they're rough in Java, but rolling them in Bedrock seem more of a tedious process. Anybody notice? I don't know if it's a thing now, but there's so many wandering travelers, traders, those guys that you see running around trying to sell you stuff. There's so many more in Bedrock, which I think is cool. I legit know pretty much nothing about Bedrock except for basic enchants, mechanics. Looting 3 is something I do need. I do need it. Same way as I also need, what is that other one? Feather falling. God, I know this. I've done this before. Feather falling. But I also need sand. Can you guess why? Can you guys guess why I need the sand? Well, you're going to find out why I need the sand. This villager didn't need it, but I gave it to him anyway. As I was trading. It's just the way it works. Sometimes I need to use the table. So you kind of have to make the other villager invisible to reuse the station. It is what it is. But I don't want to bore you too much with this back and forth. So I take a break and I'm off again. And one thing about horses, which I think I like in the new updates, is that they can cross water, thankfully. They don't just sink. They are slow, but you don't have to get off of them. Because my issue is typically, I find a horse, then I find water, I can't even keep the horse anymore. I don't know if that's anybody else's luck, but it is mine. But I'm off. Again, to find what? Another village is actually what I'm looking for. I found another one. This guy couldn't jump a fence, so I had to cut it down. This village I had decent luck with. I'll say that much. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure. My experience so far is that once things start spawning, and it is a thing like Java, then they start spawning. If they don't spawn as much, then they don't spawn as much after the fact, if that makes sense. Like if you can spawn a village, more villages will spawn. If a savannah spawns, then more savannah. You know what I mean, right? Okay, cool. Back to trading again, because I still need books. Big books. Couple books. One book I really want, which is one would be Fortune. And also Feather Falling. Feather Falling, big thing because fall damage is one of my nemesis. Really, really badly. It's awful. Eventually, I did roll for the Fortune, which I am very pleasantly happy for. I will take whatever amount it is. I don't care. Normally, I roll for mending too, but that's not necessary as well. For me, I'm just trying to get through. And I didn't intend on going too far. But I did get the Feather Falling, which was great. And that's all I really needed for that. I don't get too greedy, so my next step is actually to light a portal up. And I do have a diamond pick, so I make this work. And of course I misplaced one. That's fine. And I will say this nether, as a vanilla nether, before we even get in there, is probably one of my favorites in regards to the experience. And I'll explain that once we get there, because it is different. The big thing I've noticed with Minecraft is the nether in Bedrock is really aggressive. All the mobs tend to be more aggressive, like these gas. I ran into so many gas flying and spawning like on land, like this. Back and forth, back and forth. And I know this is hardcore, but you play so much Minecraft, you like that little bit of crazy in there. I'm telling you, it's amazingly fun. Because even me not being fully equipped, I love this stuff. And I know what I'm going to lose. That's probably why I'm that crazy about it. But I'm in there. You know what I'm in there for? Blaze rods and ender pearls. That's the word I'm thinking. Eyes of ender. We're not there yet. We are not there yet. And these magma cubes, they are aggressive too. Like, this is where you see me get stuck in a small space, and I don't know if the hitboxes are bigger on your player or they actually have a longer reach when it comes to the mobs. I'm not really sure. I'd like that I found that out, but it is one of those differences that I had to play to. So I had to learn how to play Minecraft like legit in a different way. And this is not a different way for me. If I can't get straight to the top, I just go to the bottom and dig straight up. Now this, I'm not going to cut this section out because I thought I was done in this section. I try not to panic, but with the scroll wheel and hotkeys and stuff in Bedrock, I start panicking because I can't place blocks correctly. I can't move, grab stuff the way I want. And this is my first entrance in. I thought I was done, but just watch. I saw the arrow, and now I'm panicked because I knew that was a regular skeleton. Yeah, that definitely could have been it for me. That definitely could have been it for me. But somehow I made it enough. I had decent enough armor to just make it. And I'm still here for blaze rods. That's it. Just blaze rods. Nothing else. I need the blaze rods. If you don't know, then you need them for Eyes of Ender. For the portal. That's it. That's the only reason why I came here for. Nothing else. I did happen to pick up a wither skull too, but I didn't necessarily need that. But once I got what I needed, I was ready to leave. Now I didn't get enough ender pearls, which is unfortunate. I'll have to come back, but I wasn't trying to be greedy. I've never tried to farm ender pearls in the desert on Bedrock, which I knew was an option, but I wasn't willing to risk it right now. I just wanted to get out, take a break from everything that was going to. So I spawned, thankfully, on land, not under or in a cave. Just to get more of a break, to look for a place to kind of base up and work on some, not leveling up, but basically to get ready for my end fight as a whole. Not so much just trading, but basically get just a little bit I need. Why? Because I get to be impatient, and I actually would love to just run through it. That's what I typically do. My track record is about half, give or take, for hardcore attempts like this. And again, it's not a speed run, as it is, I'm more impatient. I just want to get it over with. I don't build a base typically, because if I build a base and then I die, then it's kind of a waste of time, right? So I don't typically do that. So you see me smelting, cooking up iron, because I still need more iron to get everything done. I'm just kind of going about my business right now. And since I have the tiers, I can make some regen potions, which is beneficial too. It's nice. I don't typically use potions. I use golden apples. But if I can have both, then it would be nice. Even though it's one of those things you can't redstone. What is it, 45 seconds, I think, for just one of those potions? I don't remember. But typically I don't use potions, which I think is really neat. A neat mechanic in regards to the dragon fight, or any fight for that matter. So I just make some up. And one of these things, if you don't know me, I always keep the brewing recipes on my phone. I've had the picture for years on my phone, so I just kind of memorize them, and if I need to reference it, that's a little useless fact, but it is a fact. I still have that chart of brewing, and I never use them. But once I kind of get where I need to get to, I just start cooking them up. Which I really wish they stacked. I'm not really sure why. It's one of those things that don't stack. Some things stack. Don't water bottles stack? I think water bottles stack. I'm just thinking. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I'm just brewing here and brewing here. And this is the point where I have to figure out what's enough. Because I've never fought the dragon in Bedrock before. So I don't know. Yeah, it is 45 seconds. I don't know how much I actually need. I fought the dragon before in no enchanted armor except for boots that had, I think, Feather Fallen 4, and I think I've beat the dragon before. After misplacing my first Eye of Ender, I did the smart thing and pillar up, and then there we go. We're off. I'm going to cut all that chunk out because you definitely don't want to see that. And I was like, man, I hope it's not in this water. It's under the water. See? Yeah, it's under the water. One thing that I actually am nervous about for this is, you know, if you've seen them, you've seen them. They spawn, and I can tell right there by that wall that they spawn in a weird cave generation where it could be a abandoned mine shaft and basically cuts up the fortress. It just cuts it up to where it's hard to navigate, and some walls actually get blocked to where you're supposed to be able to get to it. And that's kind of where I ended up here. From experience-wise, you see where that goes straight? Well, there's supposed to be a way to get this direction. And I kind of took a shot and kept looking at the ground, and sure enough, you see the ground, see the blocks? I just followed the blocks. That's all I did. Because there was something I was missing. Had to have been something I was missing. And that's the problem with this type of fortress that spawns. You just kind of have to dig your way around instead of just going down hallways and hope that you hit. Because I don't know how long it would have took me if I wouldn't have done this. But this is not my first one that's like this. And that's including Java. It's the same thing. So I'm just going to keep running because I'm really anxious to at least get there. And there it is. That's what I'm anxious about. Just to get here. I will preface this now that I make one mistake and I do it a second time. Can you guess what I did? I wasted the only pearls I had because I was shift clicking. Because of the lava, I was shift clicking. So I had no pearls to put in. So while I'm kind of just in my head right now thinking this over, that I just wasted those, I dug into a trial chamber. Yeah, we're not doing that. That's not what this video is about. We're not doing this. But it was cool that I actually was there. Like, it was just right there. I guess they spawn like they do in Java, in Bedrock, which I think is cool. I mean, just those things. Learning Minecraft, vanilla. I don't mean a mod pack, but vanilla. It's actually pretty cool for what it is. But I have to collect some more resources. Ignore all the animals. I just added the naturalist add-on. And then you get new mobs like this Enderman here. No, it's not. I'm just back in the nether. That's all I'm doing. I need more pearls. That's all I'm back here. I think I actually have enough blaze rods for this job, so that's not the biggest of deals. I just don't know where this guy goes. Is there sweeping edge in Bedrock? I never saw the enchant. Not one time. I'm just curious if you're watching. Is there sweeping edge? I could probably look it up, but I'm too lazy for that. And of course, some skeletons decided to go through my portal and try to end me. And that's fine. I have a shield, which I'm not big on using shields. I'm really not. I don't know, something about it just feels weird. Can you put torches in your offhand in Bedrock? Because I couldn't, and I kept trying, and I couldn't do that. Is it just shields? All these questions that I don't have an answer to. But I knew not to hit shift this time. And let's just say this experience is very different. I don't know how you go through about it, but I have some blocks. I use ladders because they're faster. I keep my bucket just in case I need it. And we're off to the races. And I'm not really sure. I'm not so nervous as I am just curious on how different the fight was going through my head. I mean, I've been here before, and this is not modded. But one thing I don't like is that it doesn't show you the trail of your arrow very well. When it gets far enough away, the particles doesn't show the animation, so I can't really gauge how far it is. Also, I don't know if it's my brightness or not, but it was so hard to see this dragon. once it basically, I'm starting to look up, it was hard to see it. Like it was camouflage. Maybe it was just my brightness. I can't really remember. But anyway, I do the typical thing is, you know, when you shoot the crystals. I'm shooting and shooting. And one thing I still have noticed is that the mobs are much faster and much more aggressive. And that's okay with me, but it is very different. And you see the little, what are they called? The orbs these things spit out, the fire thing. Right there I should usually hit, but that hitbox is a little big for that iron. I don't know if I even looked at that Enderman. I'm just watching this fight now, like I haven't seen it before. But you see how quick this dragon is? Now, if you played Bedrock, then you know. You know they're this quick. I didn't know. Which is not the end of the world. I mean, I've taken hits. That's why I keep the bucket. Thankfully, that the ground registered the bucket. Thankfully. I'm still trying to do the thing. Popping my apples. Trying to keep my gen up. Now, I will say that it takes a minute for the hearts to register or health to go back up. Like, it's slower. It's a cool mechanic, but it is something I did notice. And I'm just sitting there. This fight went on for a while. I didn't, in itself, just completely die. And I thought I would. Like, with my armor and everything, I just kind of kept moving and moving, trying not to look at Enderman. But this dragon was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It stayed on me the whole time. Which I was still trying to figure out what to do. I'm still trying to shoot. My sword wasn't strong enough. So usually I rely on arrows from a distance. But I couldn't hit any of the crystals from down here. It just wouldn't let me get to that point. And that's good. I like a challenge. I won't complain about that. But I'm sitting here hitting. Look at the hearts. They're not going down even though I'm hitting it. The hearts. Look at the health of this dragon. Sorry. Well, I didn't know what to do at that point. I'm still trying because I'm here. And you know the only one way you can leave is to die or kill the dragon. And I'm still trying, and the health is just going up quick. And let's just say, look at my health, okay? Look at my health. Still trying. Still trying. A little bit more than half health. Still trying to shoot, popped an apple. Popped another one. Well, no, I started chewing. Regen. You see my health almost all the way up? Just keep watching. Because this is just weird to me. It really confused me. Even with my health, it was really confusing. See how slow it took to go up? Even though I was like regenerating everything? That was weird to me. Very weird. And then I just died that quick. Just quick. But wait a minute. I'll get right back to you because what if I take time to actually go through everything? Not just run. But what if I did? Just played regular Minecraft. Not so quick, but just regular Minecraft. I'm going to tell you right now, this was a really, really slow process. Really slow. It was so grindy. But what if I did? You know, strip mined. Use an XP farm, which this is honestly the only spawners I found. And I was even in big caves. And on poison spider spawners, the only one I found. I don't know if they're not as common in Bedrock or not. I really don't know. But I used what I could find because it was a little rough going. But I even started enchanting as whatever I could. All diamond, everything. Trying to do all the things that you would normally do. Not me, because I'm usually lazy and don't feel like doing it that quickly. Or taking that much time in hardcore at first. But I was doing it. I'm sitting here grinding out levels, mending everything. And you remember when I said that I did it that wasn't the first time I did this? Right there. I shift clicked again. And then caught myself really, really fast. Really fast. Thankfully, this was a weird thing. A really, really weird thing. I thought I had to go all the way back for blaze rods. And I was ready to go back. And then this guy shows up with Eyes of Ender in his hand. I didn't planned this. I didn't spawn him in. It was the weirdest thing. Because right there behind that house is where my drop chute is for the portal. So it was weird. He just was there for me. Something was meant to be for me right there. So that was actually fairly cool. And then I go back in again with dogs. I will say they don't survive. I'll say that much. I didn't even realize it until after the fight was gone. This fight was in itself, I feel like, harder than the first one in regards to how aggressive the dragon was. But to be fair, I'm much more geared up. You see my sword sharpness 5. My bow was up there with power 5. My armor diamond was up there. Now, I don't know if you can get projectile protection from those orbs that she spits out, but somehow whatever I had on was helping me so much. That and the golden apples, obviously, helped so much. And one thing I did notice is that my sword was still doing more damage than my bow in these fights. So that's kind of where I stuck to, mostly. And when I realized it, because I still couldn't get all the crystals. I couldn't destroy the crystals. And I'll eventually show you how many I actually did destroy. But I got there. I'm there, and boom. I finally did it. After this whole long time, I actually did it. I did it. And I had faith in it. Because there's still one other thing I really wanted to do. Can anybody guess what that was? I don't think I showed you what was in my inventory. No, but I'm just taking a break here because that was a relief, to say that much. What I wanted to do was actually get my wings. I have the book, and I also have the rockets. And I always, same thing. I don't know if anybody else does this, but you basically just pray that you have a good, close city. Good, close city. This is exactly where I spawned in. I didn't cut any of this out. This is exactly where I spawned in. You see me running. And I was going to turn my render distance up. And there it is, right there. It's the first city is in view, which I was so happy for and relieved, but we still had to get there. I usually like to use blocks and ender pearls and stuff like this for obvious reasons. I don't want to have to carry that many blocks, and ender pearling is getting over much faster. So I'm going to start blocking like I normally do. And yes, this is how I block. I don't just walk backwards. I don't know why, this is how I do it. But there just happen to be 2 cities right next to each other. 2. So we're going to have to get both of them. First one's here, though. Get in quick before I get shot. And I'm in. Once I'm in, I know I'm safe. Because, I mean, you do this enough times, you just know. It would be nice to get some shulkers, but I'm not greedy. I'm just here for one thing, is those wings. And I did get them, which was great. But I also wanted the other ones. And now that I got the rockets, I can also fly there. So the second set, no problem. But I'm going to say this was a long process to get to this point. I'm going to say that much. A grind. I'm talking about straight vanilla grind. I don't remember it being this hard on Java. It took me 138 in-game days to get to this point. To the dragon fight, that is. 138 days. And normally it doesn't... It could take me, even if I was grinding it like this, I want to say 60. Around about 60. But this was a grind. There's a very big difference between Bedrock and Java. You can see the crystals that I actually didn't destroy. Look at them. Not much at all. But this was way different. And a new experience. I hope that you enjoyed, and I thank you for watching, if you made it this far.